I almost feel like Dogokobo heard me complain about the first episode of the second season and decided to reuse all that crap again. That stupid intro for that stage play that just seems like it drags on and on. Honestly, besides the amazing animation and yes, technically showing the portrayal of the characters doing their acting, I honestly, personally hated most of the beginning of this episode, but the last part just carries it. That whole later segment just literally carries this episode. Finally seeing Melt just stand up and do exactly what I was kind of expecting. Not that he does incredible, but that he just nails something. He just does good enough. Now, my idea there was more the idea that he just does good, which it was sort of getting there until they started pointing out that the crowd was getting bored, which I don't know why they would be, because technically Kamoshida's right there. You would think that that would be at least enough to entertain them. But no, it's kind of implying, no, Kamoshida was almost implying that he was going to have to take himself down a notch, do just like everybody else does. But still, the idea here is that at least Melt nailed the ending. And I like kind of like that idea where Aqua's like, look, just catch him off guard. Just play out like you typically do, but then focus on this one part. And it seems like he spent this entire time focusing to do some really cool trick right here just to blow everybody away. And I can only imagine what is going through Kishijoji's head right there. Like, why couldn't you done this with my show? Why? That was like, amongst everything else, that was like one of the more painful aspects of that entire episode is just Kichijoji essentially seeing you're screwing up my friend's thing now. She's feeling the same thing Abiko did. That now you're doing it with this one. Abiko was like, you ruined my friend's adaptation, and now she's going, you're ruining my friend's adaptation. But then she nearly goes in tears right there. And Abiko is even like super happy about it. Yes, thank you. This is so great. This is exactly what I wanted. And it all kind of just blows up right there. It was super cool. Super, super cool stuff. But like I said, the beginning part, didn't care so much for, and that again, that's mainly because that long drawn out intro of the actual stage play, the perspective of the crowd, which honestly I don't think really just, yes, it gives you a sense of what everybody's seeing, but at the same time I don't need it. It's like it doesn't help the show itself. This is an anime about these characters and acting, so when it finally shifted to the characters, I was like, cool. We got some really cool animation. I like the acting again. I will admit, I seen the same thing in the previous episode. I'm not sure if anybody else knows this. It looks super low framed. And I got that sense from Kana specifically in the previous episode. When Kana and Akane were kind of facing off against each other with their envisioned perspective of their actual characters, like doing flips and stuff like that. Kana specifically was like super, super choppy. And I got the feeling with this episode too, with a lot of the action scenes, it felt very choppy. Especially around Kana for some reason. I don't know what it is about Kana. Maybe it's her outfit. It's really hard to animate, but it's like, why is this so choppy? But anyways, that aside, yes, Melt is the perspective here. I didn't notice this in the previous episodes, but the whole scene with Minami and Kamoshida, it's Kotobuki and Kamoshida, I know I'm getting the names back and forth. It's hard. But that little scene there where Melt kind of steps in and throws off Kamoshida and tells him that there's somebody waiting for him, the director or whatever, I didn't realize how old Kamoshida is, and I guess they kind of confirmed that in this episode, talk about how long he's been in acting and whatnot, which doesn't really mean much because you have people like Kana has been in acting for 10 years or whatever, but he's very old, and yes, technically Kotobuki is kind of young. So with this episode, I almost got I thought that I get a sense that there was a reason why Melt kind of stepped in when he did. That yes, he's had experience with people pushing themselves upon him. That yes, if Kamoshida is seemingly older, I'm assuming he's much older. Was he pushing himself upon Kotobuki, who is like a teenager, so he's very young? Kind of makes it kind of uneasy there. Again, if Kamoshida is, in his 20s. But either way, that could possibly explain why Melt stepped in there. It kind of made it out as if it was just strictly he didn't want them to cause problems with like Aqua and her being a friend of Aqua's sister. I don't think that would be enough there, but yes, it did technically open the door to what we get into with this episode, which is Kamoshida seeing that Melt is useless and he's going to ruin the show. But yes, let's get into Melt. That was really, really good stuff there. And again, it was kind of what I was expecting, kind of building it into he's not doing a good job. People are losing interest. And again, even having Kamoshida himself implying that he's going to have to start stepping himself down, just like everybody else does. Again, somebody else having to draw back their talent, draw back what they're doing in order to match him. And that was literally what everything that Kana had to deal with And technically, Aqua, in a sense, didn't really do that, and was having to dial themselves down. But what's great about this is that that sort of plays into what made Melt seemingly open his eyes. What we play out with Melt's situation here is that at some point, when he went to this new school, middle school, first year, some girl, a senpai, third year, forced herself upon him. And I kind of had to check the manga to make sure that was a proper translation there. Yes, literally, she took advantage of him. She forced herself upon him. But ever since then, he realized, man, I'm pretty much popular material here. And so he's going around, yes, girls are confessing to him. People are laughing whenever he bullies people. That seems to play into sort of his feeling of succeeding, that he'd make these dumb jokes and everybody would laugh. So he thought he was funny. And then he would apply for things and he would easily get into things. And everything was all about the idea of he didn't have to try hard. That's the key thing that seems to be for Melt's character. I never had to try hard. Every single thing that I did, I would just wing it and it would happen. And that's what the mindset that he had going into Sweet Day or whatever, Sweet Today or whatever, the stupid TV show. He went into that with the mindset of just wing it. I don't have to try hard. But the thing is here is everything up until then, he was succeeding. And it seemed like he was okay with the idea that some people were dismissing his lack of talent because he looked good. Why wouldn't he? Everybody likes him for his looks or whatever. They're drawn to him and it's succeeding. Who cares? And then it eventually gets to the point where he now is doing this role with Aqua, and Aqua comes in there and blows him away. And Kana plays off of it, blows him away. Kana's been holding back the entire time. Suddenly, she goes into it. And now suddenly Melt realizes, wait, this is talent. This is talent. And it seems like after that, he watched the clips. Yeah, I was really terrible. And then it starts to hit him that because of me, the show was not successful. Because of me, because of my winging it, it was a terrible show. That's the point which he wants to change himself. It's sort of a rebirth that sort of happens there. And yeah, that kind of plays into, yes, him trying to figure out his character. Akane is trying to figure out her character, and he's like, I don't know how she does that. I'm trying to figure out my character. And he's sitting there looking at the character, and he's like, this is a character who thought was that they were amazing, and then they got beat down at some point and underestimated their opponent. And then suddenly they realized how lame they were. And it's like, oh, wait. That's me. Oh, wait. That's me. That moment where Aqua totally showed me up and Kana showed me up and I realized how bad I am. I am super weak. I'm actually super weak. It all makes him realize. It was a really good scene. Him kind of breaking down while reading that manga. It's like super good stuff there. And I like how they sort of portray it later on, showing that almost rebirth that's happening there. That through his efforts, things change. It shows that visual of all the girls liking him. Everybody likes him. It's so great. The world is fantastic. It shows this colorful perspective of everything being so great. Love it, like Oshi Tokyo or something like that. All these weird names and stuff like that. But yeah, it's showing everything's going well for him. He has everything. And it does kind of make you wonder, why even bother? And that's sort of probably the perspective that he had. Again, it plays out that, just wing it. It's all working out fine. It seems like at some point there was a light there, and he wanted it. There was talent, trying, all that kind of stuff. And that sort of played out with the idea of the sword itself. He's swinging it over and over and over again until eventually the blood starts to drip from his hand, and he's reborn. It's a cool little perspective there of that hard work and effort being something that he wanted. He grabs for that talent. He pushed that effort into it. He bleeds, and he's reborn to actually have something of talent. And that all plays into it. It's really, really cool little perspective there. So I loved how they played out his character, that rebirth. And again, not that he comes out there and blows everybody away. I wasn't expecting that. I honestly didn't want that. It's too easy. It's too Hollywood, I guess is the best way to put it. It's too cartoonish in a sense. It's too fake. No, he still sucks. In the end of the day, he still sucks. He's doing a lot better. They even point out the idea that even his effort for pushing his endurance ever since that show shows that he wasn't winded. Even Kamoshida pointed out, he's not winded. He's actually been trying. He's been pushing himself. So that effort is showing there. But he's not good enough that he's going to perfect the whole thing. So he focused on this one little bit. Aqua told him, just focus on that one little bit. Which is a cool little, I guess, advice that he gave him. It's kind of funny having that little scene towards the end there where Mel's like, yeah, I actually had a lot of fun there. And Aqua's like, yeah. I'm like, that's a different Aqua than I normally see. But sure, Aqua's just kind of smiling with him. Yeah, cool. But no, it was a really cool little portrayal there. Really liked it. And again, I love seeing Kishishoji just blown away by it. And again, she's got to be conflicted, but I think she accepts it. Like, there is a side of me that almost feels like she would be angry, but no, she's happy because it's Abiko's work. She wants him to do well. She wants him to do a good job. And again, she never has indicated that she was, yeah, she didn't like being around Melt. Every time Melt shows up, she kind of just goes, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get away from you. But it is technically still to the point that she was meeting people in the middle, and she expects that things aren't going to go well. She expects that he's going to not do an incredible job. But at the same time, she's still happy that Abiko, her friend's work, was done really well. I would really love to see, I'm hoping it happens, a scene with her confronting Melt after this. Like, maybe a forgiveness. I almost wonder if she'll end up forgiving him because he did so well with Abiko's work. Like, you did better. Thank you for doing better with this work and not destroy it like you did my work. That's enough. That's enough. That's all. I'm happy about that. I'm good there. Very, very, very interesting stuff. Again, yes, let's get the elephant in the room kind of acknowledged here that, yeah, there's a side of me that kind of hates that Melt was, again, shown as being somebody that did bully people. That definitely took him down a couple pegs in my book, but at least it does technically get in that idea of something that I like with things like Mushoku Tensei. I like that he's not a perfect person. He is, yes, he's got those stains. He's got those nasty stains in there. But at least I think, again, if it's correct that Kamoshida is technically in his 20s, it at least shows that he is somebody that is stepping up and almost doing better now. Like, it doesn't erase the fact that back in the day he was a bully. And he could still be a bully, but it does look like at least he is trying to stop that kind of stuff from that pressuring that happens. And again, he has those mental scars seemingly from that experience with that girl, and that sort of paved him into what he was. Even if you might see that as a positive thing, that it gave him sort of a confidence, there is the downside to those confidence, I feel. So again, it doesn't make it right, but at the same time, it is interesting to at least get a reason for why he did that. And that's because he got his mind a little warped with this idea that people accept whatever he does and that he's a popular guy and that no matter what he does, it's great, it's good, and everybody loves it. And it is technically his character. All of that is his character. He was bullying because people liked it. He was doing all this other stuff because people liked it. He was seen as being fantastic because people liked it. He was always praised as being, beautiful and everything because people liked it. And he fed into it until, again, what I would assume is the point which he did that role with Aqua and Kana and suddenly realized, I am not the great thing that I think I am. I am not amazing like I think I am. I am second rate. Suddenly, he got put in his place, and he woke up, and that's cool. I don't know, maybe we might get a shot of Milt apologizing to the boy that he bullied. It seemed like it went out of its way to sort of show the character, so maybe he'll have some redemption there. Not that it makes it right, but it's still cool idea there. Anyways, that's my thoughts on episode 17 of Oshinoko. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit that like button down below, comment, let me know what's on the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button to get my content. Any news, reviews, first impressions, top list, if it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it if it does. Until next time, I'll take care.